Cloud Radio. For a limited time on Channel 104, starting Wednesday, and always in the Sirius XM app, included with all trials and popular plans.
Get the SiriusXM app and listen on your phone when you get out of the car. Anywhere you take your phone, you can take Howard Stern, NFL Radio, and commercial-free music channels from nearly every genre. You never have to miss your favorite SiriusXM programs or commercial-free music. Find the SiriusXM app in the App Store or call 844-711-8800 or visit SiriusXM.com/app to find out more.
Hey everybody, I'm Andy Cohen. Hear me and my awesome lineup on Radio Andy. Andy Cohen Live.
Leo King in the house.
Jeff Lewis Live.
It's Me Tinks. Smith Sisters Live. Sandyland.
The Jess Cagle Show.
Big and Nice. Revelations. From pop culture, music to show-stopping moments.
Kelly Ripa. Ed Sheeran.
Jennifer Lopez.
Kevin Hart.
Lil Nas X.
Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah.
I do want to do a duet with you.
You've heard it.
Yeah, I want to do it.
If you Radio Andy, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visiting SiriusXM.com/go.
Did you know SiriusXM has over 100 extra channels on the SXM app, filled with ad-free music made for everything you do? Mashup channels, workout channels, channels for parties, or just chilling out and more. Expertly curated for any mood, occasion, or activity. Extra channels let you discover new music and enjoy even more variety from every decade and music style you love. Plus, you can watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows with SiriusXM Video. And you can do it all along with listening in your car as part of our music and entertainment plan. Right now, we're offering SiriusXM subscription plans for as low as $6 a month, plus fees and taxes. Call 844-711-8800 to find out more about these amazing offers.
There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, that's nice. There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, that's nice.
If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at equityzonemortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you, as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast. License number 018148868.
About the season, and you've got a sleigh load of holiday channels to unwrap in the SiriusXM app. Shake the tinsel right off the tree with Rockin' Christmas. Set the mood for a silent night with holiday chill outs. Or add a touch of Christmas class with Real Jazz Holiday. There are over 20 seasonal channels to choose from. Just open the SiriusXM app and search Holiday starting November 8th.
When you're a SiriusXM subscriber, you've got access to commercial-free music, channels from almost every genre, and channels created in conjunction with the biggest names in music. Eminem's Shade 45, Pearl Jam Radio, Bruce Springsteen's E Street Radio, and more. Visit www.siriusxm.com/go to sign up online quickly or call 844-711-8800 now. Activate your radio and start listening now.
Is on the line, and SiriusXM will take you to the track for every thrilling turn.
1, 2, 3 cars crashing and colliding.
Sunday at 2 Eastern. 4 drivers enter with equal points, and the highest finisher takes the title.
Hey, it's William Byron. This is Christopher Bell. This is Ryan Blaney. This is Kyle Larson.
And driver-to-crew chatter puts you in the car for every lap.
Dr. Pride right here, Vegas. Let's get it.
The NASCAR Cup Series Championship live from Phoenix.
Let's go get a championship, baby.
Listen on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio,
Channel 90,
and on the SiriusXM app.
To hear SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visiting SiriusXM.com/go.
Work through your day with a mosaic of relaxing pop to keep you moving forward. Or melt away the stress with SiriusXM Mosaic.
This is my
'90s and 2000s pop on Channel 15 and in the SiriusXM app.
Just turn up and vibe. Hip Hop Nation, commercial-free hip-hop hits. Channel 44 and the SiriusXM app. To hear these songs, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visiting SiriusXM.com/there.
Rondo Deportes, bonjour, vidi vidi vici, let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe with 29 podcast applications. And that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Happy Halloween! Halloween tomorrow, Curry. But I ate all the candies. We know. Go get some more for the kids. Well, you can go get some more for the kids because my tummy's full. Your tummy doesn't have to be full. You can always do the Hollywood diet. I won't tell you what it is. Today is a beautiful October the 30th in 2023. And I want to tell everyone, Happy Halloween all over the universe. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade. The standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them sit you where the good Lord split you. If that makes sense to you, you can follow Big C Sports on Google, Alexa, Spotify, Speaker Podcast, Apple Podcast, Amazon Podcast, TuneIn Podcast, Good Pods Podcast, iHeartRadio Podcast. You can find them Big C Sports on Castbox Podcast, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, Podchaser. You can find Big C Sports on Geo Savon out of London, England, Podtail, YouTube, Hubhopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, ePod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes, Podcast Wise, Podbay, Verbal Podcast, Podcast Prodigy, Podcast Republic, and then there's another one that I used to be afraid to say, but I'm not afraid to say it anymore. It's called AllFees.ai. Give that some praise. The robots are trying to take over, but I do have a turn-off switch. I have a turn-off switch. You want to know what it is? It's by the late, great Teddy Pendergrass. When he sang a song, it's called Turn Off the Lights, and light a candle. You see, there's something I've been wanting to do to you, baby. He said, turn them off. Give Teddy some praise. Man, if you don't have Teddy's voice, it doesn't work. Imagine Michael Jackson saying, turn off the lights and light a candle. I said, turn them off. You know, it just doesn't work that way. Give Teddy some praise. You can also follow Big C Sports. Oh my God, I have so much fish. I feel like a fish. I want to tell you, you can also follow Big C Sports podcast streaming OTT on 4 TV podcast platforms all over the universe. Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. I love giving that praise. Fish is so good, but when you eat too much of it, I feel sometimes it might be swimming around in my belly. I want to tell you, you can also, I'm telling you, I love what I do with the Veterans Crisis Hotline because they really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help, especially our military people. If you have any veterans or even the person on the phone call, you know anybody having issues, there's a Veteran Crisis Hotline. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones. 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255, or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give them some praise because we all need somebody to lean on. I know I do. I want to also say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, reparations now, reparations forever. And then he said, let there be light. I was hoping that I would get my NFL and my NBA brethren to start talking about reparations. But for some reason, they just don't want to do it. I know they say end racism is a start. Either lead, follow, or get out of the way. And somebody haven't given them the marching orders yet. But I want to tell you the NFL is about 75% African American. And they say end racism, and that's good. It's a start. The NBA is about 80% African American. And they have, I think, I haven't even noticed end racism on the courts. Maybe I've overlooked. I gotta look again. But I thought they say reparations now, reparations forever, because other organizations have been championing reparations. And I know Big C Sports is. Give that some praise. I'm just trying to find at least like one other black man. Like not one, not two, not three, like one to champion it with me. And I can't find it yet. But they will sell you some shoes. They'll sell you some cars. They'll even sell you some food. They'll tell you, come eat my sandwich. They'll tell you, come eat my sandwich. Or eat salad or whatever they tell you. Whatever it is, they'll sell you Gatorade. But most of us come from ancestry that was beaten. They were lynched. They were murdered. Their children were sold off. That means if you're a black American, somewhere down the line, you had some relatives that were sold off. Sold! And now that reparations is in Congress, it's hard to find any of us that even pay attention to it. I believe it's the Marines. It was the Army that said that they leave no one behind. No, that's not the Army, Curry. Okay, maybe it was the Air Force. The Air Force said leave no one behind. That's not the Air Force, Curry. If it wasn't the Army, it wasn't the Air Force. Maybe the Navy. The Navy said leave no one behind. It wasn't the Navy, Curry. Or who was it? It was the Marines. They said leave no one behind. Give the Marines some praise. I said give them praise. But when it comes to our own beautiful, intelligent black folks, we talk about Black Lives Matter and I'm black and I'm proud. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. What did James Brown say back in the day? He said, say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. And now that reparations is in Congress, you know, the people that create laws in our country. I can't find other black men that say what Georgetown University said when they placed over $1 billion to just 272 families. And most of our black men and women, they say nothing. Oh, that's not true, Curry. They say, come buy my games. Come pay for my games. Come watch me play. Okay, well, I was wrong about that. Also, Curry, they also say, hey, come to my movie. Come pay for my movie. They say, come watch me play. Come pay to see my movie. But the most seminal change that's ever happened in the history for black Americans since the Emancipation Proclamation is reparations. And we can't find, I mean, I'm looking and I'm trying, maybe I should run some ads on the sports show. Hey, but I already do. Call Big C Sports. Give that some praise. So the next time one of our black brethren wants you to buy their shoes, or buy their sandwich, or buy their libation, or buy the cars they endorse, or some type of sporting app that they endorse, remember, I'm trying to get everybody paid. How you gonna get everybody paid, Curry? I told you, Georgetown's already pledged over $1 billion to just 272 descendants of chattel slavery. And we have more black men on our sports teams, college and pro, that are able to make more money than ever in the history of this country. But they're not like the Marines that say leave no one behind, leave no soldier behind. And I'm just asking because I'm a little bit embarrassed. I can be embarrassed. I'm not always right. I'm not always wrong. But I'm definitely not always right. I've been bragging that more of our black brethren would do what a white lady, Senator Elizabeth Warren, out of Massachusetts. And she says that we deserve reparations. And I can't find any of our NBA or NFL players that would even support that white lady that's trying to get our ancestries paid through us because they know they were robbed. And we talk about H.R. 40, Sheila Jackson Lee. We talk about so many people. But what is it about our black men? Because oftentimes in the black community we'll say, oh, they won't let you have nothing. And we want to point the finger at somebody else. And here's a chance for the most seminal happening in the history of this country since the Emancipation Proclamation. And they won't talk about it. You own 80% of the league! The NBA Players Union owns over 50% of the NBA. Okay, maybe on paper, but we know who pulls the punches. But at least on paper, they own 50%. They share the revenue, 53%. And they say it's so unimportant what Georgetown did to repair the damages of what happened through slavery. And they won't even talk about it. It's like in racism is as deep as they go. And I know maybe we are as simple as the Willie Lynch letter. Oh, just give them some balls to play with. They love playing with balls. But they don't want to do what's right to honor their ancestry and their legacy. Other coaches do it. I met some people with Native Americans in the background, Indians, because they call it Native Americans in the background. And once it was discovered that they had Native American in their background, they're actually to get compensation. I'm going to talk about that more coming up on some programs, because when Big C talks about reparations now, reparations forever, I'm not just shucking and jiving. I want to do something that's going to be a seminal moment in the life of black Americans. There's so many times where people have taken from Native Americans to get their land, or black Americans to get their land, and now we have some wealthy, nouveau riche black Americans, and they keep saying how they want more equality and more jobs for black men in sports. A lot of my black brethren talk that way. We want to make it more fair for black Americans to get jobs, or at least get interviews. We have the NFL has the Rooney Rule, but there's only 3 black head coaches in the NFL. And so some of those coaches and players, they're disingenuous, because I've been telling them what President Abraham Lincoln told us, and also Senator Elizabeth Warren told us, and Representative Sheila Jackson Lee told us, and what California Reparations Task Force is telling us. They say reparations now, reparations forever. And some of our well-known black athletes and entertainers won't even talk about it. Dr. Boyce Watkins, he works with Claude Anderson, Dr. Claude Anderson on Empowernomics.com, and they're championing reparations now. Reparations now, reparations forever. Just like Senator Marco Rubio and Senator Rick Scott from Florida, they're making sure that our Jewish brethren get paid. It is hard to find black Americans that will stand up for what's owned. I mean, you owe it to yourself and your ancestry. Even if you don't know what you're talking about, you can Google reparations. It's been all over the news. But we can't. I mean, maybe it's just me. I listen to cable. I listen to the internet. I listen to television, radio. And not even our white brethren would talk about it, but they already got paid through the Homestead Act. That's how their family built up so much wealth over the years. Pejoratively. Black Americans couldn't get anything. And you think about that. It's right here in our face. And it's hard to find people that are willing to talk about it. Oh, we love Dr. King. We shall overcome someday. And the day is now. I'm part of the co-chair of the National Black Wall Street Project, and I want to do my part to get people involved in this push for reparations. Curry, I thought this was a sports show! And that's our problem. They got us drunk on sports. I saw this movie over the weekend. It was a great movie. It was so powerful. And it talked about some things that we all deal with in daily life. And that's about how do you get what's owed to you. And I'm even going to say, I'm not trying to pump the names of the movie because I'm not getting paid to do that. But I think it's so important to say it because it's so powerful. It'd be foolish of me not to mention it. I didn't see a lot of black actors in it, so I'm kind of hesitant to talk about it. But I do want to say it's important that we all understand we're more than just sports, and sometimes we are actually owed money and resources. But we don't talk about it. And I wish for whatever reason, in fact, I'm just reticent to mention the movie because I didn't see a lot of black Americans in it. It was directed by Robert De Niro. It was a great movie. But it was about how Caucasians were trying to marry Indians to have offspring, and then they kill off the Indians and they get the life insurance policies in the land and whatever else they own. That's as much as I'll give it right now. But it was really gripping. And I thought, how is that what we deal with right now as black Americans? Because reparations are right there on the table. And we have a right because Congress is even considering reparations. And we have, the majority of black people don't even talk about it. It's a shame. Oh, but come watch my game, Curry. Come watch me play with balls, Curry. Come watch my movie, Curry. Come watch me read a script. And what would really benefit our people is not paying $200 to watch you play with balls. I get in free with media credentials. But most people, they're paying between $100 to sometimes $1,000 to go watch black men play with balls. And can't even get these same black men that come from one of the most proud heritages in the history of this country called black people. All that began on the African continent. You got to give God some praise for that. It's not me shucking and driving. And so many times I hear men, they argue about who a better player or athlete is. Black men. Embarrassing. If that's all you got. And we have the most seminal moment in the history of our country. Right now, do we give reparations to descendants of child slavery? It's in Congress. And we got men. I guess Laura Ingram know more about our black people than I do. She said, shut up! And dribble. So maybe they're doing what she said, so who am I to do otherwise? I want to also say I'm going to keep championing. I'm going to give myself some praise because sometimes you're out there like an eagle, you're soaring all by yourself, and you're just trying to find a few more eagles, but they're too busy playing with balls. It's a crazy world that we live in. I want to thank T-Mobile, America's largest 5G network, proud sponsors of Big C Sports. I want to thank PNC Private Bank, proud sponsors of Big C Sports. Give me $6 billion and quit shucking and jiving with me. I want to say Happy Halloween. But I realize Halloween is tomorrow, but I ate all that candy. I ate all that candy for nothing. I guess I got to walk it off if that makes sense to you. I'll walk it off. I want to thank This Is CNN, The Source with Caitlin Collins, weeknights at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, proud sponsors of Big C Sports. I want to also thank the California Reparations Task Force because I talk about reparations. And it happened in 2023. In the same city where they say, light the beam, light the beam, light the beam. And I can't get our black folks to say reparations. It's just embarrassing. Come watch me play. I want to thank California Reparations Task Force, and I might be the only one as far as a few good people that do it too. I want to thank the chair, Camila Moore. She's brilliant. Give her some praise. Attorney that focuses on reparative justice. I want to thank Dr. Emmett C. Brown, Vice Chair. He's brilliant. I want to give him praise. I want to thank the best senator in the United States of America, California Senator Stephen Bradford. He's brilliant. Give him praise. Also responsible for name, image, and likeness that helps college athletes get paid. It is working! He's also behind reparations. Give that brother some praise and some support. If you won't do it for yourself, do it for your grandsons, your grandparents, and great-grandparents, and great-great-grandparents. I just want to thank my teammates for getting me the ball and making sure that we do everything the way we're supposed to. We have the right chemistry. My shot went down. I worked real hard on my shot in the offseason, and I want to make sure that we have a chance to win the championship. I want to thank my coaches for giving me the chance to get in here in the game and prove that I can help this team win. And I want to thank our fans, the best fans in the history of the universe. And they're so reticent about a man that helped black kids primarily get paid for name, image, and likeness. His name is California Senator Stephen Bradford. And he's also trying to make sure that reparations goes out to black Americans, descendants of chattel slavery. And nobody supports him but me. I hope I'm wrong. But I can't find anybody. Our other black men, they're just arguing about an athlete. And this man is trying to get us paid. You know what our Jewish brethren get? It's called reparations. I tell you, I met with someone today that explained to me how Native Americans get their own reparations. Land. But you know, they champion for it. And the most vocal black Americans, they're afraid! Shut up and dribble! And you don't have to be afraid. I want to thank also Councilmember Monica Montgomery Steppe. She's brilliant. Give her praise. I want to thank Assembly Member Reginald Jones Sawyer. He's brilliant. I'm going to give him praise. I want to thank Dr. Cheryl Grills. She's brilliant. I want to give her some praise. I want to thank Attorney Lisa Holder. She's brilliant. I want to give her some praise. I want to thank Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, professor at California, Berkeley. He's brilliant. I want to give him praise. I want to give praise to Attorney Donna K. Kamaki, part of the California Reparations Task Force, whose family got reparations. Give him praise. And now they're trying to push for black folks. People won't talk about it. It's a shame. I also want to thank Double O, part of the payout committee for the National Black Wall Street Project, sent me Executive Order 13985, signed by President Biden, on further advancing racial equity and support for the underserved communities through the federal government. That's the White House! Give Double O some praise for sending that to me. I already told you, Georgetown University, they signed in September. They're pledging over $1 billion to 272 families, descendants of chattel slavery, as we're shutting up and dribbling. I want to give them some praise. I also want to thank Double O, National Payout Committee for the National Black Wall Street Project. She sent me this article from the United Nations. It said that strong leadership and political will are crucial to ensure reparatory justice for people of African descent. But you have a hard time finding the most vocal black Americans even saying anything. They'll tell you, come see my game. Oh, come see me drop 30 points in the game. Oh, I was 21 of 28 for 272 yards and 3 touchdowns. Give me praise. I guess somebody told them to shut up. And they don't care that this money was earned by our ancestry. And they let the people who consider non-black keep it. Because none of those white families gave back money that they got from the Homestead Act when the United States government gave them over 276 million acres of land. They didn't give it back! Come see me play. Come watch my game. President Biden said he's back studying reparations. It's in the hands of Congress. And we spend our hard-earned money to go to a game of a team that we don't own, ownership that's not black, but we'll go buy their jerseys, we'll buy those high-priced tickets, we'll buy uniforms for our kids, we'll buy a hat, some shoes, and don't own none of it. And now Congress trying to get us paid for what our ancestors had taken from them, and we let the white people keep it. It's a shame. Should the United States government pay reparations for slavery and its legacy? Yes! But they can't find anybody to talk about it at Big C Sports. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I want to just touch a little bit on, I've been going over on every show how the NFL and the NBA are planning to help support what President Abraham Lincoln said when he wanted to end racism. Yep, and Big C Sports would do it. Either lead, follow, or get out of the way, and I'm going to do my best. It doesn't mean that everybody's happy with what I talk about or how I do my show, and that's okay. I have enough support all over the world that follows Big C Sports, even from the Congo, and that to me is important. In fact, speaking of all over the world, I got a thought that just happened because everybody has their own thoughts about things that happen in this great country. Give me some praise. Everybody has their own thoughts about something, even when my platform falls down. But I don't stop. The show must go on, and so that's what I keep doing. Everybody has a thought on how you do things. And I was talking about something that happened in the world of boxing. And it was kind of a robbery of what happened. Because people know that you got to fight for your right to party, they say. But I'm telling you, there's something that happened at a fight that happened over the weekend. And it was in Saudi Arabia. It was Francis Ngannou. He said he's not done with the MMA, and he rips the judges in the Tyson Fury bouts. It's a shame for boxing. And Big C Sports predicted, I said that Francis Ngannou would beat Tyson Fury, and I said he'd knock him down. And I was right, because the judges in the boxing match, they said you didn't see with your own eyes what you saw. I said that Ngannou would knock down Tyson Fury. I didn't say it'd be a knockout, but I said he'd knock him down. And Saturday evening, Francis Ngannou delivered one of the most impressive combat sport performances of the past decade, going toe-to-toe with undefeated heavyweight champion Tyson Fury in his boxing debut. And though the judges, who were not in the ring, they gave the fight to a man who was laying on his backside. They gave it to Tyson Fury because of the way boxing is. And they said that Ngannou ultimately lost a contentious split decision on the judges' scorecards. Not one of those judges got into the ring. But they told you that the guy that was laying on his back is the one that won. They like this right. It's a shame. He knocked him down the third round, and he beat him up pretty good. It went back and forth. But everyone that I know that knows boxing, they said Francis Ngannou won that fight. It wasn't a split decision. It should have been unanimous. How do you knock a guy down and you standing over him and they say you lost? Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. You saw the fight. If you saw the fight, you know what I'm saying. But they got to protect the heavyweight champion because they want to set him up for another payday. And some people say, oh, it has a lot to do with the race. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. I think it has a lot more to do with money. Race is always there, too, but it has a lot to do with money. And Tyson Fury knows he lost also. But speculation will now transition into boxing full-time, where they have bigger paydays. And I know that's what Francis Ngannou is most likely going to do. But he said nothing's going to stop him from doing what he wants to do. He can do MMA and fighting and boxing. He said if I have the skills for both, then why not? As far as right now, he has a deal with PFL, and he's intending to fight MMA again. He says he loves it. And for anyone that watches boxing, and you see a guy laying on his backside, he was beaten up. And even the boxing commentators are saying Ngannou's taking the fight to Fury. And they were surprised when they said a united or a split decision. You look at Francis Ngannou making his way from Cameroon to France as a young man, to taking up MMA and becoming the UFC heavyweight champion, to standing his ground against the UFC and striking out on his own, now coming with a single round of defeating Tyson Fury. He beat Tyson Fury. Don't matter what the judges say. You saw with your own two eyes. But that's just the way it goes. The judges decided who won the fight. And none of the judges were in the ring. And none of those judges saw that Tyson Fury was laying on his backside either. Because they tried to, do you believe me or your lying eyes? It's a shame because boxing, that's why people don't like boxing. Because it's about more than just who won the fight. It's about who's going to win the money. and you got other fights set up for Fury, and that's just the way it goes. But you can't tell me that a man that was sitting on his backside is the winner of a fight. When he did not punch him, he lost. And everybody knows that. But that's the way it is. Got the Raiders tonight in Detroit. They're a 7.5-point underdog for the Detroit Lions. The Lions looking to try to win the division. The Vikings coming out strong. Kirk Cousins, wow. Season-ending injury with a tear in his Achilles. And he was just making a freak move. It's bizarre how it happened, but that's just how it happened. It just snapped on him. Man, I wish him nothing but the best, but I know it's hard coming back when you have the Achilles tear, especially as a football player. So really tough for Kirk Cousins. He was really playing good football too. But now you have tonight in Detroit, and Detroit's going to beat the Raiders unless there's some type of freaky upset. I got Detroit winning that game, and they'll cover the spread. A 7.5-point underdog for the Raiders. They'll probably lose by 2 touchdowns because that's just the way the Raiders play. I had so much hope for the Raiders when the season began, but not now. They're just the same old Raiders, and that's a shame. I want to say, well, that's my story that I'm thinking with it. I want to also get into World Series Game 3. The Diamondbacks got a Game 2 win over the Texas Rangers, and that momentum's back in Arizona. When you think about it, they call it the Fall Classic, but not many people are paying attention to the ratings, but that's okay for the guys getting paid to play. But Arizona, they tallied 16 hits and 9 runs to defeat the Rangers, who scored just 1 run in the bottom of the 5th. And the Diamondbacks were able to rock the reliable Rangers starting Jordan Montgomery, who gave up 9 hits and 4 earned runs over his outing. And now they're back in Arizona, where you can get a ticket in outfield for about $20. Isn't that something? When they were playing Philadelphia in the NLCS, the cheaper ticket was like $300. But now they're down in Arizona. We'll see what's going to happen with that. The Diamondbacks, can the Diamondbacks win the World Series? Well, if they win at home, I mean, the teams on the road have been winning. The road teams have been winning, but they went into Texas, and Texas got the first win, and then Arizona came back in Game 2. They definitely have momentum on their side as they are back in Arizona, and they didn't win the division. The Dodgers won it, but they came along, and they're riding high right now, so you got to give them some praise if they can pull this off and win 2 at home. But they may split, the way I'm thinking, they may split this series, and going home and home, may go back to Texas for Game 5. But we'll see. That's what happens, and you got to play the game. They say you play to win the game. Exciting to see if the Diamondbacks can beat the Rangers. It's good for baseball, not good for ratings, if that makes sense to you. That's my story that I'm thinking with it. And they didn't champion reparations either. In the league that I thought would champion reparations now, reparation forever. Maybe they still will. The NFL, the Denver Broncos, they end a 16-game losing streak against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Carolina Panthers get the long-awaited first win of the season. And everybody loves football. I love it too. But Russell Houdini Wilson, he threw 3 touchdown passes. And Justin Simmons had 2 of Denver's 5 takeaways. And the Broncos beat touchdown Patrick, there's no place like Mahomes, and snapped their 16-game losing streak to Kansas City with a 24-9 win on Sunday. The Broncos are now 3-5. And I'm still shocked. It's amazing. The Chiefs now fall to 6-2. And they like losing the animals. They lost to the Detroit Lions earlier in the year, Game 1. And now they lost to the Broncos, and they fall to 6-2. But the Broncos handed Mahomes his first AFC West road loss in beating Kansas City's quarterback for the first time in 13 tries. And Denver made a 14-9 halftime lead hold up. I mean, I appreciate that they didn't give up. A lot of people they were telling, get Russell Houdini Wilson out of town. All fair and never work. I got the New England Patriots. I'm telling you, they went up into a buzzsaw. They lost to Miami 31-17. It was Tua Tagovailoa. He threw for 324 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jalen Ramsey intercepted a pass in the Dolphins' debut. And then Miami beat New England, as everybody tried to do this year. Miami won for the 16th time in their last 18 home games. If they get home field advantage in the AFC this year, Miami might be heading out to Las Vegas for that February 11th date All-Star level award. Tua Tagovailoa, he moved to 6-0 in his career against the Patriots coach Bill Belichick. That never would have happened back in the days of Tom Brady. The Dolphins are now 6-2 for the first time since 2001. They have a one-game lead over Buffalo for the AFC East lead All-Star level award. Cincinnati Bengals, man, there's problem and them their heels. Cincinnati 31, San Francisco 49. Brock Purdy played like he was still concussed. Touchdown Joe Burrow had 3 touchdown passes, and Cincinnati intercepted Brock Purdy in back-to-back passes for the second half, and the Bengals clinched their 4th win in 5 games after being hampered early in the season by a calf injury. But to me, Trey Lance don't look so bad now, does he? But I'm not turning on Brock Purdy. I think they stuck him in there. He had concussion protocol. He just cleared the day before the game, but he wasn't really able to practice then. He looked rusty. I think they got to read on him. Deebo Samuel, got to get him back. Also, Trent Williams on the offensive tackle, got to have him back. But you got to give Cincinnati credit. They came out to the West Coast, and they put 31 on the board against the 49ers defense. But don't blame the defense when Brock Purdy is like giving handoffs to Cincinnati's defense. So maybe Cincinnati, out of those 31 points, they probably earned 17 of them. But you're giving so many interceptions, they're getting the ball down around your goal line, at least in the red zone. That's not the defense's fault. That's the quarterback. But Shanahan also, you were going to start Sam Darnold. He practiced all week at first snaps, and then you announced that Purdy's going to start. He didn't get the snaps against this defense, and they figured him out. All-Star level war. Chicago Bears, they got beat down by the Los Angeles Chargers 30-13. It was just on touchdown. Herbert passed for 298 yards and 3 touchdowns, including a 39-yarder to Austin Eckler. And the Chargers look good, but they were playing the Bears, and everybody looks good when they're playing the Bears, if that makes sense to you. And I think about what the Bears have. They got to figure out how to just play better football again. The Chargers are good, but not that good. Philadelphia Eagles 38, Washington Commanders 31. It was touchdown. Jalen Peace, don't hurt him. He threw for 4 touchdown passes on an injured left knee and helped the Eagles fly high. And they improved to 7-1 with the victory at Washington. A.J. Brown had, think about what he did. He had 2, this little boy is amazing. 2 touchdown passes, 130 yards receiving. Now, A.J. Brown became the first player in NFL history with 125-plus yards receiving in 6 consecutive games. Give that brother some praise. What was Tennessee thinking when they let him go? Doesn't make any sense. Washington fell to 3-5 with their 5th loss despite having them put up a good effort to fight the Eagles. Didn't happen for them. How about those Cowboys? Dallas Cowboys 43. Los Angeles Rams 20. Touchdown Dak Prescott threw 2 of his 4 touchdown passes to C.D. Lamb, and DeRon Bland recorded his NFL-leading 3rd interception return for a touchdown. In Dallas, the Cowboys 5-2. They beat the Rams now 3-5. This is that same Dallas team that got smoked by San Francisco 42-10, and now they're putting a beat down on the Rams. It was a rough and tumble homecoming for the Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford from Texas, and I'm telling you, there's something about that Cowboy team. Sometimes they play like they're ready for a Super Bowl, other times not. But the Cowboys won their 11th consecutive home game. If they can somehow get the NFC Championship to come through Dallas, it's hard to beat them. Jacksonville Jaguars 20, Pittsburgh Steelers 10. Touchdown Trevor Lawrence threw for 292 yards. A good-looking quarterback. I mean, he's good in the pocket. He had a touchdown and an interception, and Jacksonville beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Jaguars have won 5 straight to improve to 6-2, and they broke it over with a 56-yard touchdown pass from Lawrence to Travis Etienne. They both played at Clemson. Pittsburgh, they fall to 4-3, all-fair 11 war. Houston Texans, we have a problem. Carolina Panthers 15, Houston 13. It was Bryce Young out of Santa Ana Mater Dei and Alabama. He outdueled C.J. Stroud out of Rancho Cucamonga High School and Ohio State, both in California, in a battle of 2 of the NFL's top 2 draft picks. And I'm telling you, this is the team in Carolina. They're still young. Young was the number 1 overall pick, threw for 235 yards and a touchdown. He led the winning 15-play, 86-yard drive that took more than 6 minutes off the clock. And the Panthers snapped a 56-game losing streak in games that they trailed at any point in the 4th quarter. And that's the longest since the NFL started tracking that in 1991. The New York Football Jets, the Jets, 13. The New York Giants 10 in overtime. Man, if you can make it through that game, you must really love football. But it's all fair and level where Greg Zuerlein kicked a 35-yard field goal in the final play of regulation and added a 33-yarder in the overtime. And the Jets, they staged an unlikely comeback in a defensive battle. And it was a battle for New York, and the Jets won all fair and level. And the Cleveland Browns, they fell in Seattle, where they're sleepers in Seattle. The Seattle Seahawks 24, the Cleveland Browns 20. It was Geno Smith. He threw a 9-yard touchdown pass to Jackson Smith and Jabba with 38 seconds left. And Seattle, they're 5-2 now, and they're leaders of the NFC West. They rallied after blowing an early 14-point lead, struggling for long stretches against the best defense in the NFL. And Smith, sensational on Seattle's final drive. That good boy has led Seattle to the top spot for now in the NFC West. All fair and level war. The Browns fall to 4-3, if that makes sense to you. DK Metcalf had a great game as well. And then the Baltimore Ravens 34, the Arizona Cardinals 24, 31-24. Baltimore over Arizona 31-24. Gus Edwards ran for 2 of his 3 touchdowns after interceptions by Baltimore's stout defense, and the Ravens beat Arizona. It was not as close as 31-24, but Arizona kept fighting. Jackson had 157 yards passing, 18-27, and ran for 18 yards. All fair and level war. But this is a tough game. When you go on the road, and sometimes you're expecting to blow out a team, I got to give Joshua Dobbs some credit. He was harassed all afternoon, but he hung in there and he kept the Cardinals poised. He has a bright future ahead of him. I got the Tennessee Titans 28, the Atlanta Falcons 23. All fair and level war. Rookie Will Levis, he threw for 238 yards and 4 touchdowns on his NFL debut. And the Tennessee Titans 3-4 now scored their most points since 2021. And the Titans captain alumni weekend wearing Houston Oilers throwback uniforms. The days of when they played in the Astrodome down in Houston, Texas, with the great Earl Campbell, if that makes sense to you. Atlanta falls to 4-4. Everybody loves a new beginning, and I think they having a new beginning down in the South with Tennessee and also Atlanta having a lot to fight for. I got New Orleans 38, Indianapolis Colts 27, touchdown Derek Carr. He threw for 310 yards and 2 touchdowns in a bounce-back performance. Taysom Hill and Alvin Kamara scored 2 touchdowns apiece. And the New Orleans Who that say they're going to beat them Saints. They beat the Indianapolis Colts. The Saints snapped a 2-game skid and moved into a share of the NFC South lead with Atlanta at 4-4. All fair and love and war. Now, Carr, he was chastised for scolding his teammates on the sideline and shouting at defensive coordinators, but he's just trying to get his team to play better. And I think he showed them how sometimes you got to argue with people to get things better. Sometimes being nice doesn't always work. And I think the team responded, if that makes sense to you. I got the Minnesota Vikings 24, Green Bay Packers 10. Kirk Cousins threw a pair of touchdown passes before leaving with an ankle injury in the fourth quarter. And yeah, they confirmed it was a ruptured Achilles tendon. That's horrible. He was having a really good season too, Kirk Cousins. Green Bay, they fall to 2-5. And the Vikings, they lost their leader in Kirk Cousins, even though they won the game. It's just sad to see athletes. I mean, it happened also to touchdown Aaron Rodgers. When athletes get hurt, it is his Achilles tendon. So that's a shame because now his I won't say his career's over, but who wants a quarterback with an Achilles tear? I mean, that's just my story, and I'm sticking with it. But I wish him nothing but the best. I just hate seeing that happen when a player is having maybe his best season. They had a big win over the 49ers, and then they got the win over Green Bay. But it's just a shame the way it happened. It should have been. I just hate seeing guys get injured, especially when it comes down to that kind of player. He's a great player, but all fair level. I want to give him some praise. He didn't even get hit. He just stepped back on his snap. And that's the rough part about any sport. It can happen to you. But I hope he gets better. And I know it's just going to take time. The NFL, I want to go over to the NBA. And again, let me give the NFL some praise, even though they haven't championed reparations yet. Maybe they will. Just listen to the first 20 minutes of the program. And don't stop, though. Don't stop. Listen to the whole program. But especially the first 20 minutes. The NBA, they unveiled some bold, distinctive courts for the new in-season tournament, with every team getting a unique design. They have a surface level changes that are coming to the NBA's in-season tournament. The games will be played on new fully planted, what they call no visible wood grain courts, all 30 of which share a visual aesthetic, and league announced on Monday today. The alternate courts will be intentionally louder than you're used to, and many have bright, bold color schemes. All feature a 16-foot wide runway across the length of the court. And I believe they're going to put reparations now, reparations forever, on their new courts. Maybe that's what I want to see them put in. But they're going to display at center court, and the silhouettes in both lanes, they've been designed to give in-season tournament games, which begin this Friday, a different look than standard regular season games. I applaud the NBA for doing things to just kind of give you a different feel when you go to the games, and I look forward to that, to seeing what they're going to do. Most of the court designs are stylistically linked to the team's city edition uniforms, which home team will wear throughout the tournament. All have either a logo or a word mark on top of the NBA Cup at center court with the name of the city or the team on both. So hopefully they'll say like Philadelphia, city of brotherly love, and city of reparations. That's what I'm going to say. Reparations now, reparations forever. That's what I'm hoping. But that's my story. If I can get the NBA to just listen, pay homage to what President Abraham Lincoln did. I wonder what Washington, the Wizards, are doing. They're in D.C., and Georgetown University is also in D.C., and Georgetown champion reparations. Will the NBA do the same? I'm hoping that they do. And why would they not? We have so much going for this push for reparations, and not just being a basketball or a football or a baseball crazy country. Let's do the same thing for the descendants of chattel slavery that we did for our Jewish brethren. And that's reparations now, reparations forever. Can we do that? Not just change the court. For the bulk of the season, they're reinforcing what the arena said, to take 60 games out of that season and put the focus on the stage, to really have something from a broadcast standpoint that really forces you to stop, look, and focus. And we think that's the right thing to do for this tournament and this time in history of the NBA, the National Basketball Association. There are 5 teams: the Boston Celtics, Chicago Bulls, the Los Angeles Lakers, and New Orleans Pelicans, as well as Portland Trailblazers. It's the first alternate court in franchise history. Now, the Boston Celtics, whose primary court is the only one in the NBA made out of red oak, will host their in-season tournament games on maple hardwood like everybody else. The first annual in-season tournament will begin on November 3rd with the first of the 7 tournament nights, all on Tuesdays and Fridays, and group play is going to conclude November 28th. I want to give the NBA some praise for that. They're trying to do something that's a little bit different, and I applaud that. We all want something better in life. And to me, I'm a big proponent of championing the reparations. I'll say it again, reparations now, reparations forever. Not just to say we won the game. Because if Congress can tell us that we need to focus on this, what can we do to get black men and black women to step up to the plate? Like our Jewish brethren step up to the plate for their people, descendants of Holocaust. What is it going to take for black men to do that? Why are people so afraid to just say what even a white lady, Elizabeth Warren, said from Massachusetts? And Sheila Jackson Lee. These are women championing reparations. Give them some praise. What happened to our men? What happened to our strong men and strong women? Big C Sports is doing it. Could you imagine if some of our more well-known people that have access to your television and your radio, if somebody's telling you, shut up, what do you think of that person? They must really hate black Americans. No one tells our Jewish brethren to shut up when they talk about reparations. No one says, shut up! No one told Senator Marco Rubio and Senator Rick Scott to shut up when they're going to make sure that what's called, it's a bill that helps our Jewish brethren. No one tells them to shut up. And you can Google the stuff that I'm talking about. It happened this year. They're making sure that they get paid. No one tells them shut up. No one did. It's called Holocaust Survivors' Rights. It's a bill. It's a bill! And they reintroduced it. No one told them to shut up. Why are black people so afraid to ask for what's rightfully ours? I told you I bought something a while ago from a store. And I didn't use it. But I kept my receipt. And I took it back to the store. They said, I said, I want to return this for my money. And the lady said, what's wrong with it? I said, nothing, I just don't need it. And I have my receipt. She said, let me see your receipt. She scanned it into the system. She said, do you want the money to go back onto your credit card or you want cash? They even offered a store credit card. And I said, I'll just have it go back on my credit card. And then I said, no, just give me the cash. That way I knew I got paid now! But people say, well, Curry, that's a store. Well, let me tell you what's happening in Congress right now. In Congress right now, and you can Google this, and this came out April 18, 2023. It was by Marco Rubio, United States Senator Marco Rubio, Republican in Florida. Jackie Rosen, Democrat in Nevada. Kevin Cramer, Republican in North Dakota. And Senator Rick Scott, Republican in Florida. Oh, Curry, there you go talk about reparations again. I just told you these senators are talking about it. But they're doing it for the Holocaust Insurance Accountability Act. It's legislation. It would allow beneficiaries of Holocaust-era insurance policies to bring civil action in United States district courts against the insurers for the covered policy to recover proceeds due or otherwise enforce any rights under the policy. Just like when I returned some merchandise to a store. They asked me that I have a receipt. I didn't have to sue them. But if Senator Marco Rubio and Senator Rick Scott and Senator Kevin Cramer and Senator Jackie Rosen are saying if you're a descendant of Holocaust and you're not getting your payments, that you can sue people. We need that for descendants of chattel slavery too. The only difference is our Jewish brethren, they stand up for what's owed to them. And we give them praise for that. On Dixie Sports, I include everybody. And when it comes to getting black Americans, oh, come see me play. Come to my game. Come see me play with balls. But we're not standing up for what was given to us too. And we have a receipt. And that's a shame. We have a receipt. And we have these senators going to court. Just like in California. They have a reparations task force. And they have an 1,100-page document that outlines reparations for descendants of chattel slavery. Give that praise. The only thing missing, and I guess I want to give Laura Ingram some praise, that white lady down at Fox Sports that was sued for over $1 billion for telling lies, she said, shut up! And people listen. I do want to give her praise because at least she has the stones to say what she believes in. It's hard to find anyone to tell her to shut up. I just told you there's senators right now in court, in Congress, making sure descendants of Holocaust are getting their reparations. And I give them praise. I'm asking for the same thing for descendants of chattel slavery. That's called black Americans or African Americans, but that has no standing in court. It has to be descendants of chattel slavery. Give that some praise. Even if I'm the only one. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. As I always tell you, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Because mothers against drunk drivers are mad, and fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You can call Uber, you can call Lyft, you can walk it off, you can sleep it off. But don't let someone you love get behind the wheel of a car when they've been drinking and start driving. The life you save may be your own or someone you love. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, you know what time it is. Back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, you You sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. With all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali said, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat because listening to Big C Sports makes me want to say reparations now, reparations forever. That's the great Ali. And he's right. And we gotta champion reparations just like our other citizens are championing for our Jewish brethren. And I give that praise. My beautiful mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. If you know anybody going through that garbage, pick up the phone and call 911 because things change when the police show up. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that crap. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, as I always tell you, you know what time it is. This is when we stand up for the kickoff, and we praise President Abraham Lincoln. When he said reparations now, you say reparations forever. Let's say a good team just won the game. What did President Abraham Lincoln say? He said reparations now, reparations forever. Now let's say it as if your favorite team just won the championship of the universe, because many of them are afraid to say it. But just follow Big C Sports and tell a friend. He said reparations now, reparations forever. I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day.